Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I want to make a video about whether or not China is going to unban cryptocurrency and Bitcoin at large. Now this is a very big deal because China has bare minimum the second largest trading volume in the world and has contributed to the really big bull runs of past, 2017 being a big one. China is a very big deal when it comes to inflows and outflows in cryptocurrency, but it seems that they've kind of gone off the map a little bit since these supposed bans have taken place. Now, for those that have kind of kept up with my channel a little bit, I've talked at some length about what's going on in China and whether or not China has actually banned crypto. And it's a little bit complicated. I guess it's what you'd call gray area. A lot of things in China work in this gray area place. And the thing is, it was never actually totally banned. There were a number of very specific things that took place that essentially inhibited cryptocurrency from having wider scale adoption, but I wouldn't say it was outright banned. Like, for instance, one of the specific things that took place was that it's no longer possible to onboard your crypto via a Chinese bank to a crypto institution. So let's just say Binance has a bank in Hong Kong. You can't send funds from your local Chinese bank account to that Hong Kong bank account owned by Binance. Those transactions are made illegal, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's illegal to own Bitcoin in general. It's not illegal to send Bitcoin from point A to point B if you just happen to be located in China. But there are other things as well, like, there was a ban on ICOs, and of course there was a ban on Bitcoin mining. So besides those things, Bitcoin was never banned, but for all intents and purposes, it's almost like it's banned, right? Now, I want to make an interesting point. If Bitcoin is supposedly banned in China, how is it that it still has like the second largest inflows and outflows in the world? How does it have the second largest trading volume in the world? And that's actually as a result of something called peer-to-peer cryptocurrency trading. So a lot of people who wanted to buy crypto, what they would do is they would go into one of these peer-to-peer crypto exchanges and they would deal directly with another seller. And this seller is not some institution, it's just a regular person who sees some ability to make some profit by selling a bit above the market price. And it's just, there's a simple profit incentive to just sell, for the average person, sell Bitcoin. So people wouldn't be frequently dealing with these large, like, centralized institutions like Binance or Bybit or whatever, right? Which is usually what we do in the West because it's convenient and that's where the liquidity is and it's cheap. Whereas in China, if you'd want to buy Bitcoin with Alipay, WeChat Pay, or a bank transfer, you would have to go to these exchanges and you deal directly with a seller. And that's what a peer-to-peer trade is. Just the buyer deals directly with the seller as opposed to some third party like a centralized institution, right? That's in fact how I got into peer-to-peer trading, because when I was in China, I'm like, it's just inconvenient to send funds via some kind of Swift transfer all the way back to my home country, where it costs like 6%. It's easy to just buy Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is banned. So then I had to discover how people on the ground here were doing it. So on that note, Bitcoin, it can't really be banned in general. It's actually a really good use case on why Bitcoin is ultimately uncensorable. If China can't go out of its, can't use all of its centralized authority to ban Bitcoin, then I don't really think any country can do it, because one thing is that if they're going to ban, you can't really go as far as banning peer-to-peer trading in general, because peer-to-peer trading is so different to any other form of financial transaction. Like, there's no difference between me buying Bitcoin from somebody else, like just from a peer-to-peer transaction point of view, and me going to the shops and just buying groceries with my Alipay or something like that. There's no difference between me buying Bitcoin and me just sending funds to someone to pay them back for dinner or pay them back for a loan or something like that. There's no difference between peer-to-peer trading Bitcoin and just doing any financial transactions in general, right? So pretty much if they wanted to ban peer-to-peer, if any country wanted to ban peer-to-peer crypto trading, they'd pretty much have to restrict all financial activities as a whole, which is essentially impossible. Therefore, you can't ever stop peer-to-peer trading, and that's why I'm such a big advocate for it. And if you're interested in getting involved in some peer-to-peer cryptocurrency exchanges, you can use my referral links in the description down below for local CoinSwap and HODL HODL. These are two exchanges that don't require any KYC, and you can trade using practically any payment method that you can think of. So what's actually started these rumors of Bitcoin essentially getting more, I don't want to say being unbanned, again, because I think that's a bit of a misnomer, but we'll just say getting more, maybe getting more general acceptance by the government. Well, there's a few things. I don't know if you remember Justin Sun, that guy that founded Tron. And I say that guy loosely because he is, that guy from way back when, in a time that most people don't remember, which was the 2017 bull run. And he was the guy that founded, Tron, which was a huge token at the time. I guess that right now it's most famous simply for being the blockchain that has most of the USDT trading volume right now. Most people trade USDT on TRC20. So that's mostly what Tron is famous for. So Justin Sun, after doing the ICO, I think he did that in China, he made tons of money, went to America, and then I think there was an attempt to extradite him for basically doing this illegal issuance of some kind of security, right? And that's when the ICO ban started to happen. It was all because of Justin Sun. And it looks like he's been going in and out of the legal process for a long time, and I kind of thought that would be the end of that. Anyway, buzz in crypto community over possible lifting of China's Bitcoin ban rumors, and the biggest reason is because there was an overturning of that case, more or less. I speak loosely on this. I'm sure there's more specifics to it, but generally speaking, one of the significant developments fueling these rumors is Justin Sun's recent legal victory. In June, the founder of the Tron network won a defamation case in the People's Court of China. The court ruled in his favor against the Chongqing Business Media Group, which had accused him of various illegal activities. Some have interpreted Sun's legal success as a sign of potential shifts in China's regulatory approach to cryptocurrencies. I mean, to be fair, I'm not precisely sure about whether this case had so much to do with his ICO, or maybe it was a separate legal case. But regardless, there was an overturning of some case regarding this defamation in the People's Court of China. To have these things, essentially, to have the People's Court of China to change their mind on anything, particularly on something they've already ruled for, is a really big deal. And this is the kind of thing where, if in the future you've got other crypto founders or potential crypto founders, they can always use this case as precedent in court. So they can always call back to this particular thing where Justin Sun was able to overturn this ruling if they find themselves in a similar situation. Now, again, I'm not certain how much this opens, if this opens a door or opens a window, opens a crack in the window, or just there's a crack in the, in the wall, lets in a little breeze, a little draft. I don't know how big of a thing this is, but, this is, it's not exactly a small thing, and I do think these things, especially when it comes to China, like they tend to move like very slowly and incrementally, and then suddenly things just change overnight, and this could be a sign of that. But there's other signs as well. I haven't even finished the article. The other thing was what's going on with Bybit. Adding to the speculation is the move from crypto exchange Bybit, which announced plans to allow Chinese expats to open accounts and trade in June. This move aims This move aims to cater to the growing demand for secure and user-friendly crypto trading solutions among the Chinese diaspora. So what I know already is that there are so many Chinese on Bybit. However, from what I understand, these are basically Chinese expats that essentially have citizenship in other countries, right? Because if you're going to use your what's called a Shenfenzhen, your Chinese ID to sign up with a crypto exchange, even if you've moved to another country, you can't do it, right? It won't accept a Chinese address. So for Chinese expats, or people living overseas, they pretty much need to get citizenship in another country in order to be able to sign up with an overseas crypto exchange like Bybit and buy Bitcoin. However, it looks like they might be able to accept these Chinese IDs in order to be able to allow more overseas Chinese to be able to sign up with accounts, which again is not, it doesn't sound like a huge thing, but it's a trickle that's going to allow just more and more money flowing in from China. And you have, again, I need to remind you, there's already so many people that are buying Bitcoin in China, and many of them are in fact not just doing the P2P trade thing I was talking about. A lot of them are in fact already on places like Binance and Bybit. So just making it a little bit easier is going to have a huge effect, right? Because also these people have the option of selling. It opens up the ability for those guys to have more liquidity, and they're probably maybe are going to sell more to people in China who don't have the ability to sign up to places like Binance or Bybit or etc., right? So that's another thing that's just going to open up the window just a little bit more. Then there's another thing that's going on. Russia legalizes Bitcoin and cryptocurrency mining. Now, from what I understand, a big cause of this, it says it right here, Russia explores other forms of international trade settlements following US sanctions blocking it from the SWIFT interbank messaging system. I was literally going to say that. So yeah, because of the sanctions, there's so many ways that Russia just can't really deal with its trading partners. So there's been all these different options that have been presented forth. I mean, the increasing consolidation of the BRICS economic system, I think it has been a way for them to try and maneuver around the Western hegemony over the global financial system. And this looks like it's culminating in them pioneering potential BRICS currency, which will essentially be a basket of different currencies within the BRICS, with all the BRICS nations. It might be a CBDC. That's something they're looking into as well. They're also creating their own version of SWIFT. But frankly, I think the biggest thing is just the fact that they might utilize the already existing infrastructure of blockchain technology. And the thing is, what's amazing about it is that USDT already has enormous volumes. Let me actually be specific about it because this is actually important. So the reason why countries, and significantly massive institutions don't necessarily, but in past they don't necessarily trade and settle things in cryptocurrency. It's just usually because the volume's not there. Like but now it's a little bit different. In the year 2024, I'm looking at the 24-hour trading volume of USDT, and it's $34 billion. So this is a large enough amount where large institutions and, of course, governments will have the capacity to settle large trading amounts in USDT because the volume it allows for it, right? So USDT will probably be a way that Russia will help go around US sanctions. And who is it that they're pivoting from, right? So the largest trading partners, of course, were before Europe, specifically Germany, but since, the pipelines mysteriously and magically blew up for absolutely no reason at all, I think in an attempt to corner Russia into, into some hidey hole, Russia's just pivoted towards China, and now they're basically the largest, they're their largest trading partner. And this leads to the next article. Russia's central bank might legalize stablecoins for trades with China, just further confirming that USDT is likely to become a primary way of settling payments for these large international trades, particularly for the sake of dealing with China. And so this is a pretty big deal because they're going to be needing to find more and more ways to settle with their largest trading partner, and USDT might be the thing for that. Now, if Russia is going to do this, if they've decided that crypto is going to be a large avenue for trading, it's very possible that China is going to be forced in the same direction to be able to acquiesce to their partner's demand. If they want to be able to increase their trading volume with Russia, they're going to have to do it in a way that works for both of them. And obviously, they can't continue to work within the SWIFT system. And whatever other alternative that they're planning, whether it's a BRICS basket currency or some kind of CBDC, those things just aren't ready yet. But USDT is already there. All the crypto alternatives, they're already there to be taken advantage of. So it just makes sense that China may go in the direction of creating various regulations that will allow them to properly take advantage of trading on a large scale with crypto. And the last thing that I want to talk about is Bitcoin legally recognized in Shanghai paves way for crypto expansion in China. I don't want to go too much into this article, but the whole point of it being recognized is kind of like when you've got like a civil war between in one country, right? And that country splits into two. Usually, the formation of a new country that's been created out of this dichotomy is usually when other countries, particularly powerful countries, recognize it, right? And it might be the sending of diplomats. It might simply just adding it to their maps. It might just be it could just simply be mentioning it, that it even exists, right? So there's certain countries that refuse to recognize the existence of other countries, and that has a really big impact on their diplomatic and political standing, right? So this is kind of a similar thing. Bitcoin is a new thing, and simply it being recognized, and it doesn't mean it's going to be, adopted on an institutional level or anything like that, but it's just simply being acknowledged. It's gone it's emerged out of the swampy soup. And as for people that are new, they can't really remember or perhaps even imagine what it was like, say, in 2017 or even 2020, where Bitcoin was just, it was basically nothing. I don't know how to describe it, but it was just completely not on the map for regulators. It might as well have not have existed, right? But we're watching it emerge out of this primordial stew and slowly take form, and this is a really big part of it. So why is it a big deal if China, legally recognizes cryptocurrency, and if it starts to allow for the trading of stable coins on a large level? Why is this a big deal? Because it's because, as I mentioned before, there's already such large amounts of trading volume with China. Every time they just pry open that crack and make it larger and larger, there's just more and more inflows. And something I didn't talk about was the fact that Bitcoin, in a way, Bitcoin and China go hand in hand. One of the reasons is because there's basically nothing to invest in this country besides an overinflated bubble of a real estate market, right? You can't really invest in the stock market. It's not really good. It's probably heavily manipulated as well. You can't invest in overseas stocks. There's, significant capital controls where for the average person, you can only pull out around like 50K a year. So for the most part, your money is essentially trapped in China, and there's really only real estate. So in real estate isn't even very good of an investment because it's a bit of a Ponzi scheme. Despite that, people are willing to figure out every which way to go through different loopholes to allow them to acquire more properties. Even then, there's like a limit of like one or maybe two properties that a family unit can own, right? To avoid people like pumping up the price, but people keep finding ways to buy more and more properties. So there's a desperation to get into more different kinds of investments, and Bitcoin, of course, is one of those things. So there only needs to be like a slight opening of this crack in order for all this capital to flow into Bitcoin from China, and this is something that I believe could be one of the major narratives of the bull market that we're going to see next year. Of course, there are already so many narratives already, and I'm not really big on narratives. I'm just a supply and demand guy. I just see, okay, there was a halving, the supply of Bitcoin is basically going to go down because, there's half as much Bitcoin being mined, every time there's a Bitcoin mined. So as a result, that's enough to cause a bull market, but the narratives are valuable, particularly because they're the things that fuel rampant speculation, and I think this is worth talking about. So thanks a lot for watching my video, guys. If I've sold you on peer-to-peer cryptocurrency exchanges, I highly recommend you use my referral links in the description down below to sign up with local CoinSwap and HODL HODL. Those are two good places to buy cryptocurrency without KYC on a non-custodial exchange, which means if it ever goes belly up, you're not going to lose your money. And I also recommend one called BitPapa, which is a place where you can do peer-to-peer trading for the purpose of Monero. And there are a bunch of others that I recommend. They're going to help you buy and sell gift cards, which is a good way of turning your crypto into stuff, right? Like if you want to buy food, right? You can buy Amazon gift cards and then you can buy food, have the stuff shipped to your house, and that way you have a direct link from Bitcoin to stuff, right? That's a really important part of debanking, which is the purpose of my channel. You can make sure to subscribe if you want to get more tips on how to debank and get a lot of no-nonsense advice about crypto. So thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.